So joining us now for analysis, Loyola Marymount University professor Michael Genovese, president of LMU's World Policy Institute. Okay, first, the government shutdown. It seems the Senate is going to vote tomorrow morning. How did we get to this point? How do we get out of this? And are moderates the key to fixing this? A lot of talk about what moderates are doing over the weekend.
Well, there are a lot of moving parts, and it's still very delicate. There's supposed to be a vote tomorrow. It may or may not work. But there are two things that stand in the way. One is trust or lack thereof. Neither side trusts the other. And the second is Donald Trump. The Democrats thought they had a deal last week. The president then reneged. They've gone back and forth. And so what you've seen in the last couple of days is that the moderates on both sides have worked without the White House. And so I think Republicans are going to sleep tonight petrified that they'll wake up tomorrow to a presidential tweet that undoes everything. And so there is a path forward. The path forward is neither side can get a win. Both sides need to bring back something to their base and say, we didn't win, but we got something, and we'll fight again tomorrow.
We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got some things we wanted. That is what we call compromise, right? All right, so as President Trump's first year as commander-in-chief comes to an end, how's he doing when it comes to accomplishing the Trump agenda in this first year? Well,
it's been a rough year for the president, marked by, of course, the government shutdown, but also by what we saw last week when the president's attorney was revealed paid $130,000 to a porn star to buy her silence. And what's wrong with this picture? The president had some clear successes in year one. The economy continues to roll along at a very good pace. He got some deregulation passed, he got tax cuts passed, and he got Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. So there's some wins for the president, but there are also a lot of losses. He was been a very divisive figure. He's still unpopular. We've been abdicating global leadership to the Chinese at a very, very fast pace. The Russians are still walking all over us. Race relations have been made worse by President Trump, and there's still the question of corruption. But it's been a wild year, and it's probably best summed up by the very short joke. But the guy who falls off the 50th floor of a building, he's hurtling down to earth, and someone on the 25th floor yells, "How's it going?" And the guy goes, "Well, so far, so good." And that's, I think, where we are.
So maybe that's an indication of how year two might go?
Well, year two is going to be tough because as soon as they work out some deal on the continuing resolution, then you start the 2018 midterm elections cycle. And so everything will be seen through the lens of politics and partisan politics. And the Republicans know that if the Democrats win either house, they will tie President Trump up in fits. And not only will his legislative agenda be deadlocked, but I think much more importantly, the Democrats don't have the ability to investigate the president. And that would be, I think, in large part, the end of the Trump presidency.
All right, moving on to Vice President Pence. You know, he was sent to the Middle East for a trip. And I know it's during a time where feathers have been ruffled, so to speak, because the Trump organization, or the Trump presidency, declared Jerusalem the capital of Israel, which, as you know, just sent the entire Middle East into an uproar. What did it do to send Vice President Pence there, and how do you think that went?
Vice President Pence has been incredibly loyal to his president, but the indignities he's being put through this week. I mean, he's being used for target practice. I mean, he's a tackling dummy to the countries in the Middle East that object to American policy, and so he was sent there, and he's getting beat up pretty badly. But he's doing it because that's one of the jobs that vice presidents do, and he's hoping he can escape with a shred of his dignity left. But, you know, you make your decisions, you live with the consequences, and I think, you know, President Trump's decision was unpopular in the region, and it's got some blowback. If, in fact, Pence's trip allows the Middle Eastern countries to vent a little bit and get it out of their system, great. But I think it's going to be a long-lasting problem that is going to really gum up the works in that region.
All right, Professor Michael Genovese of Loyola Marymount University, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it.
Thank you, Elsa.